Hello friends and welcome to HitBullsEye. My name is Manish Mittal and I am back with your daily dose of current affairs in the bulldoze of 17th of Feb 2022. So in this video, we will discuss the 5 most important news of today and we will try to touch upon different topics, be it international relations, be it business and finance or polity or any other issue of national or international importance that is relevant from the examination point of view. Let us see the 5 topics that we are going to cover in this class. First, a new book has been launched that has been written by Samuel Moyn, and the topic of the book is highly controversial. That's why this book is making a lot of news. And this we need to understand that whenever a book and its author is asked in the exam, more often than not, the reason is that either the author is very important. For example, some celebrity or a politician or a sports person has written that book, or if the subject of the book is highly controversial or highly important. In either of the cases, the book and its author becomes highly important. So this person is not very famous, but the subject on which he has written the book is highly controversial. So we'll see what the topic is. Secondly, the 4th India-Australia Energy Dialogue has taken place and a union minister has participated in that. Next, the World Health Organization has launched a Quit Tobacco app to reduce the usage of tobacco by the people. Next, a private bank has launched Agri Infinity program. So we will see what Agri Infinity is, and if it has been launched by a financial institution, then perhaps it could be a way to fund agriculture sector. And finally, Waste to Wealth Creation program for 2022 has also been launched by another financial sector, financial sector corporation. So we will see which one that is and what does it mean. Starting with the first news, the new book written by Samuel Moyn. So Samuel Moyn, first of all, let's see who that person is, whether he has some credentials or not. So he's the professor of jurisprudence at the Yale Law School, one of the top law schools in the world under the Yale University. And he is a professor of history at Yale University. So professor of jurisprudence and professor of history at the University of Yale, which is one of the top-notch universities in the world. That means this person does have a lot of credibility when he's talking in the fields of history and in the fields of law. So he has written a book, and just look at the title of the book. It is How the United States Abandoned Peace and Reinvented War. So this is like a criticism, a sharp criticism of the United States of America about its endless wars that it has created in the last century, perhaps, like the Vietnam War from 1955 to 1975, which was a huge disaster. Then the Korean War from 1950 to 1953, then the World War II, in which it threw 2 atomic bombs on Japan, and millions of people have been killed in these wars. So if you look at it that way, then in all these wars, United States of America was directly involved, and it led to the reinvention of the idea of warfare. And we have seen that how United States of America is the biggest spender on defense. So it can very well be argued that America has given a new meaning to warfare, and it is not in a positive sense. So this book essentially highlights the USA's strategy on fighting wars and how armed combat was transformed from an imperfect tool for resolving disputes into an integral component of the modern condition. So that is a stinging criticism of the US administration on how it has made its defense power and its power of the muscle to submit other countries into submission, just like Korea or Vietnam. Or now, see, it hasn't talked about the new wars. See, USA has been involved in the Syrian war. USA has been involved in the dispute that we have seen in Iran. It has been involved in Iraq, Afghanistan. All these were disasters. So over the last 70 or 75 odd years, in whichever war United States of America has participated, it has left the country devastated, whether it was Vietnam, Korean Peninsula, Afghanistan, Iraq, or Syria. Millions of people have died, and that's what this book talks about. Next, the fourth India-Australia Energy Dialogue has taken place, and it was co-chaired by the Indian Union Minister for Power and New and Renewable Energy, R.K. Singh, as you can see in the picture over here. And since it was an India-Australia Energy Dialogue, Australian Energy and Emissions Reduction Minister Angus Taylor also was present. And this was one beautiful thing I observed, that in India, we call this ministry the Ministry of Power and New and Renewable Energy. That shows the intent of the Indian government to promote renewable energy. In Australia, on the other hand, the name of the ministry is Australian Energy and Emissions Reduction Ministry. That means their intent is to reduce the emissions and, as a wholesome ministry for energy. So that is, I think, a bit more progressive stance. So energy transition was the major area of discussion. Energy transition means that right now, the bulk of energy in these two countries is formed through non-renewable sources like coal-based, coal-fired thermal power plants, for example. But energy transition, these countries are looking forward to transition to a renewable energy-based mechanism. So that was the major area of discussion among both the ministers. And the focus was on renewables, energy efficiency, storage, electric vehicles, critical minerals, and mining, etc. So India is forging such partnerships with so many countries so that its targets under the climate change conference that was signed in Paris in 2015, and that was revised last year in the COP26 at Glasgow, can be met by 2030. And India is doing really well on 2 out of those 3 counts that it has to meet by 2030. Next, the World Health Organization has launched a Quit Tobacco app. So World Health Organization Southeast Asia region, SEAR region, has launched this app, and it will help people to give up the use of tobacco in all its forms, including smokeless and other new type of products that are nothing but another imitation of tobacco. And this app was launched by the regional director of WHO Southeast Asia region. And very importantly, the fact that you need to remember is that WHO is running a year-long campaign named Commit to Quit. You have to remember this. The theme of an entire year for quitting tobacco is Commit to Quit campaign, which is run by WHO. And this is an initiative by the WHO to reduce the consumption of tobacco in the entire world. Next, the Agri Infinity program, which has been launched by Yes Bank for digital financing solutions in the food and agriculture sector ecosystem. So basically, Agri Infinity means Agriculture Infinite Development Program. That's what it means. And how do we do that? By giving them more and more funding, by giving them so many digital financing solutions, so that the food sector, food processing sector, the agriculture sector can have some entrepreneurial ventures. Because see, India has just 2.5% of the world's land area, but it generates around 7% of the food grains in the entire world. That means India is a surplus producer of food grains and horticulture items. But the extent of food processing industry in India is very, very dismal. So to promote that, to promote entrepreneurial ventures in the field of food and agriculture, this digital financing solution has been provided by Yes Bank. And the name of that campaign is Agri Infinity. It's like, if you want to memorize it, if you want to connect with it, it simply means that for infinite development of agriculture sector, this program has been launched. So these startups are called Agri FinTech startups, and they are working on financial innovations across the food and agriculture value chain. And Yes Bank is providing this particular service in this same sphere. And finally, the Waste to Wealth Creation Program 2022 has been launched by SIDBI, that is Small Industries Development Bank of India. And it is specifically launched for the women in Sundarbans area of West Bengal. So women will make ornaments and showpieces from fish scales so that a new form of business can be generated for them. And initially it will extend benefits to 50 women by indirectly generating revenues from alternate livelihoods. And later on, these women will become trainers and they will replicate this model to other areas and to other women as well. And they will disseminate this knowledge that they have gained through this program to other women as well. And this entire scheme is a part of Mission Swavalamban. Swavalamban in Hindi, it's a Hindi word. Swavalamban means self-dependent or self-sufficient. So this is a part of Mission Swavalamban, under which alternate livelihood opportunities are being provided to people living in rural and hinterland areas, especially to women. And this is a scheme of SIDBI to support artisans. If we talk about a couple of facts about SIDBI, it was founded in 1990, Small Industries Development Bank of India. It has its headquarters in Lucknow, and right now, Mr. Sivasubramanian Raman is the chairman and managing director of SIDBI. So the facts that you need to remember: number one, Waste to Wealth Creation Program is an initiative of SIDBI. Number two, it is specifically for women in Sundarbans. And number three, it is all a part of Mission Swavalamban, right? And of course, some really important facts about SIDBI that you need to know. So that is all there is for today. And of course, there is another news that Bappi Lahiri has died. He was a famous Bollywood singer. We'll talk about him, a few important facts, a few awards that he has won, and some important facts about his career also in the next class, once we compile them. Right, so that is it for today. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and do not forget to share it with your friends and to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. This is me, Manish Mittal, signing off. Good night.